the Commanders, I guess, are going up for sale. Yesterday, we were wondering if it was going to be just partially sold or entirely sold. And then it came out shortly after we got off the air that the U.S. District Attorney is filing charges against the Washington Commanders football team, and they think they engaged in financial improprieties, sources confirmed to ESPN. They've opened a criminal investigation. I'm sorry, not files charged. Criminal investigation into allegations that Commanders engaged in financial improprieties, sources confirmed to ESPN. Now, it's tough to get that right, but I don't think they really said anything there. Investigating, criminal investigation is obviously a problem. He's about to get audited. They're about to run through all of his books. I assume they've already done that numerous times to Dan Snyder's Commanders operation. I'm assuming he's had people in his books for a long time. He's a billionaire. He's in the NFL. Now, taxes with the NFL is interesting because I believe they're deemed a necessary entertainment. So there's some filing that they have, that the NFL teams have, that other people do not have. They pay taxes, I believe, but it's not what we would all expect it to be, which seems to be a conversation about a lot of people's taxes these days. Yeah. So he's going to have somebody go through his books for criminal improprieties and how he's reporting his numbers. Now, it did come out last year that Dan Snyder was kind of playing a shell game with the other NFL owners. At $5.3 billion to sale, this is about the sale numbers. He was playing a shell game. I thought we had the article from last year. He was playing a shell game with the other owners where he was reporting a certain amount of numbers for tickets sold to the rest of the owners because they share that, okay? So that's a pot. That all money goes into a pot. They're in a group. I'm sure the teams get to keep a bonus of their own individual money made, but I think that is a shared revenue as well that takes place that they have to report their numbers to. That happens with merch, I think. That happens with tickets. That probably happens with everything that the NFL has. They have to report to each other because, once again, they're always like this. They are a business, even though they're each individual private businesses operating together. So whenever he was allegedly hiding money from the owners, and he was misreporting it to the owners. He had one book for taxes, one book for the owners. You immediately go, somebody's running two fucking books for the Washington Commanders right now. So we asked CFO Phil what that means. Sure. What CFO Phil means is that is a lot of work if they're running two different books. If you do recall the Ponzi scheme, the big one from Bernie Madoff, he had somebody running a different book, like two different books. It was a 24/7 job that they were taking place and doing. Miserable existence, but you can fuck people over. The government's wondering, you can fuck over your partners. We're wondering if you fucked over us. Now, they're probably investigating because he did fuck over other billionaires, and they're potentially telling people, hey, he fucked us over. We need to get in there and see what it is. But this seems to be the beginning of the actual end of the Dan Snyder era, even though he's beaten so many different public, allegations and causes, and everybody has deemed him an asshole. Now it's like an actual criminal investigation into the books, and it'll either be there or it won't. And if it's massive and it comes out that he fucked over the rest of the NFL, we can automatically assume that he's going to get voted out of the NFL owners group. And it seems like the writing's on the wall when they hired Bofa yesterday to handle maybe some potential interest in buying it.
Yeah, we'll see, because I still feel like we talked about it yesterday. There's just been so much stuff, and I understand that they're going to be looking into the books, but they've been trying to get shit to stick to this guy for so long now, and for whatever reason, it just never happens. And it does kind of feel like a situation where it's just like, hey, one day it'll maybe catch up to him, but until that day actually gets here, I just feel like he is somehow going to be able to skirt around it.
This is one of those things where he just has to pay a fine too, right? Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe go to jail, I guess, for tax evasion.
Normally, they
people of his stature too. He's probably not worried about that, and that's why
people go to jail. They go to those they go 1 month.
Ones.
They go 1 month in the cafeteria.
Club Fed, they call it.
There it is. But he could just sell part. That's why he could still sell part of the team and then just pay the fine and then still be there.
Yeah.
Unless they vote him out.
But yeah, if there's criminal charges, though.
If they find out in their books auditing, which they will, that he was running two books, because all you need, and we should ask CFO Phil, they only need one number off and they'll fucking go dive right in that thing, right, Phil? Yes. I think all he needs to have is one
mishap,
impropriety, and then that gives them okay, now let's open this one up. And when you're talking about billions and billions of dollars, it's almost guaranteed to be some missed number somewhere.
Yeah.
And then if it comes out that he was, this number was actually the number he reported to his business partners, and this is the number that he reported to the government, that's enough, I think, for the owners who are billionaires. Who cares? right? How everybody feels, oh, the billionaires are getting fucked by another billionaire. Who cares? Well, the reason why we should care is because if billionaires get fucked by another billionaire, the mass billionaires can go, fuck you,
Yeah, they care.
and get them out of there. So all roads here seem to lead to a Dan Snyder exit. And I think Commanders fans are pumped about that. But the money thing with the government, can't fuck with it.
Nope.
Can't fuck
Well,
with
Can't
even
fuck
the-
with the money with the government.
So
Can't do it. They will find you.
If they vote him out and they take the team, does he get money if they sell the
Yeah,
team?
they vote him to sell it.
Okay,
I think it's
okay.
like
Yeah.
Okay.
like we're forcing you out of owning this particular propriety that
Yeah.
is a part of our league.
Right.
You are no longer
Okay.
the leader of something that's part of our business.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if they were.
They're saying 10 bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that? I didn't really
Which
read
is
that.
kind of what.
I didn't see it either. They told me literally as I walked in this morning. I think that is taking account for the new property,
Yes.
Yep.
the new stadium, the new everything that they're going to have to build. Because I don't know, they're thinking that's the total cost or the total purchase. The Commanders have been looking to build a $3 billion dome stadium in Northern Virginia, although the team has been unable to secure public funding. A new owner, minus the specter of multiple investigations and other baggage, could have better luck with the effort. There's also a possibility that a change of ownership could lead to a renewed push into D.C. at the site of RFK Stadium, where the team called home for decades before moving into FedEx Field. That won't be an easy task since the site is controlled by the National Park Service. Rep. Eleanor Holmes Norton, Democrat of D.C., introduced a bill that would transfer the land to the city, but the bill hasn't made it to the floor as Congress and the Attorney General Office for D.C. have opened investigations into Snyder and the Commanders. Minus public money, the new owner may have to spend upward of $10 billion when the cost of a team and a new stadium are added together. Yeah, and I was talking to when we talked about Rappaport about this, and he started giving projections of what the cost could be because the Broncos go for like $4 billion or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And whenever they go for $4 billion, which we thought was low, I thought it was going to be a lot, $4.65 billion. We thought it was going to be very much higher because of what the projection of what the NFL is doing. And if you're going to project like the next 10 years earnings potentially, whenever you sell something, which you can take into account for, the NFL is an arrow straight up into the air whenever it talks about money because the ratings and content and streaming services and sports gambling and literally everything that is generating money right now, the NFL has. So the $4.65 billion was surprising to us. But then whenever you think about the Commanders, somebody might want to overpay because of the location and how big it is and the fan base and the history and everything. But they're going to have to spend a lot of fucking money as soon as they get there. You're talking about either fixing an entire stadium, which is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars immediately. What if they change the name?
Yeah.
They could change the name. So that's a whole rebrand.
Damn right. You spent $10 billion. I'm changing that motherfucker.
Well, $10 billion would be if they were to do everything, like
Yeah.
rebuild the stadium. But they're definitely changing the name.
Yeah.
So that's an entire new merch, logo, store, everything. The amount of money these this is you're doing this is like a home HGTV type,
Yes.
like fucking. This is a terrible house.
Almost like buying an expansion team.
Yes, it is. You got to build a stadium. You got to
Yeah.
change the name. You got to build a brand. You got to fucking find a team that's worthy of staying there. I mean, you got to rebuild the entire office that is just probably going to get let go just to kind of change turn the page. I mean, that is somebody will do it who has a lot of money because they want to get in the NFL, and the NFL is the NFL. But that is not that desirable of a fucking purchase, I don't think, if you're a billionaire and there's potentially more NFL teams coming up.
Yeah, and assuming that the stadium's only $3 billion is such a joke because look what happened with SoFi. It was supposed to be, 3 or 4, and it turned out to be 8. Like, you can't act like, hey, this is going to be $3 billion and construction's going to be on time and
Especially in
everything's
that
going to happen right
state,
away.
city.
Like, this is going to
especially
be
that
way more.
particular.
There's a lot of red tape coming in that area.
Yeah, but I think didn't they say that there's a good chance that it will be publicly funded if it's not Daniel
Snyder,
Snyder that's
yeah.
doing it because they were going to, and then they were basically like, actually, you know what? Fuck this guy. We're not doing shit for him. So if a new guy gets in here, like, yeah, let's talk.
Yeah, we'll think about it. Now, they would have to tear down the RFK Stadium to build a new stadium, right? Or is that already torn down and is already a parking lot? Darty's coming in right now.
Yeah,
What
I
is
thought
it?
they were going to a different location in RFK's where they're at now. Or
No, they're at FedEx Field.
FedEx Field.
They're at FedEx Field now. Is that what RFK Stadium was?
RFK was the old baseball stadium, wasn't it?
It was DC United Stadium, I think, right now.
So this sucks.
That's
Still
the
there.
Audi.
Yeah, that's where
What is it
the
called?
XFL team played.
Because if there's enough space that's already open in DC, because DC is a small area, right?
Yeah, that would
Thank
be
you,
sweet.
Dirty, for that information. DC is a small area. If you already have an area that could be a stadium, Now, technically, I think you would have to tear it down, build a new stadium, as opposed to renovate that stadium, so you
Yeah.
can get the Super Bowl, which I think is in the
Yeah.
I think is in the NFL rules, which is why
It
Buffalo
has to be a brand new stadium.
I think it has to be a brand new stadium built from scratch. And if it's a new owner who is like there, like, doesn't Bezos own the Post?
Post,
They
yeah.
said Byron Allen, the guy who tried to buy the Broncos
Yep.
and would be the first black owner, I think, in the NFL. Like, he's very interested, or they expect him to.
Put together a group
Yeah.
to put together some money.
Yep.
RFK demolition is expected to begin in 2023 at the earliest.
So what, is it just sitting there empty right now?
Yeah, it's multi-purpose stadium right now.
Probably have a bunch of bums in there.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, it's a house.
Maybe, yeah. Like the Greek Olympic stadiums.
So that's an easy stadium that they can go to with FedEx Field being an absolute shithole. Interesting. Maybe Byron gets in. This is going to turn into just like the fucking Denver one was, right? I think Byron was the one that came out and said, well, we knew the Walton family was
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So how high are we going to? It's like one of those auctions. I went to an auction one time, and there was a Saturday Night Live VIP package that you could buy. You get a private plane to New York, 4 tickets, I believe, to Saturday Night Live, stay at the Four Seasons, something else afterwards.
Sweet.
And I was drunk at this auction. I'm like, here we go. This sounds like a blast. Just got paid, too. I think I just signed one of my newer deals, so I'm fucking massive in this room. So they bid, yep, somebody goes like 10,000, 15,000. I'm like, cool. Plane's already that expensive anyway, so we'll do it, boom, boom, boom. Once it got to a certain point, I said a number, and there was somebody like 4 or 5 tables behind me who was just adding like 20 grand on top of it, and the money was just going up like by 1,000. And I got like 40,000, like 60,000. I'm like 61,000, 81,000.
Oh, my God.
Okay, I'm done. I think I'm out. And somebody shows me a picture. That guy sold his company like fucking 4 weeks before that for $2 billion.
Okay.
So it's like whenever you get into an
burn
auction.
a hole in his pocket.
Yeah, whenever you get into an auction, especially with how the NFL operates, everybody that's saying they're going to get into the Commanders, I appreciate and respect. And like RG3 said, hey, how about
Yeah, a couple fans.
we get some fans right alongside?
Oh, nice.
That's how it works. Like,
Genius.
I love RG3. I enjoy following him on there. I enjoy the community he's built. I think he crushes it on TV. That tweet had like 2,000 retweets with like people being like, yeah,
let's
dude,
do it, let's do it.
I'm like, is this how this works? I don't know if this is how this works because I think how this is going to work. If we know anything about Dan Snyder, I don't think Dan Snyder's selling this just because he likes somebody or it's a good story. I think he's probably taking the most amount of fucking money that you can get.
Really?
And to my point earlier, like the NFL is just doing this with money. I think there's going to be some big money having motherfuckers that are going to be getting involved in that. That thing could go for a lot of money. And I think there's only a few people, if they want to get involved, know that they're in it with them.